Tucker.
And then this, it's a chant that'll make you sick. Watch.
Fry like bacon, pigs in a blanket. Fry like bacon, pigs in a blanket. Fry like bacon, pigs in a blanket. Fry like bacon.
Those are Black Lives Matter protesters marching at the Minnesota State Fair just hours after a deputy was murdered for the crime of being a police officer. Our next guest says this movement is turning into the Kill Cops movement. More on that.
Well, it's a video that you need to hear to believe.
Fry like bacon, pigs in a blanket. Fry like bacon, pigs in a blanket.
Well, the chant taunting police officers during the Minnesota State Fair on Saturday wreaked havoc in Minnesota, hours after Texas deputy Darren Goforth was executed in Texas. So what's going on in our country? Joining us right now to react is the executive director of Black Sphere, Kevin Jackson. Kevin, your reaction to Friday's events followed by Saturday's events.
Well, the Friday events were tragic and certainly a stain on the nation. Saturday is pretty much par for the course these days, Brian. If you recall, they had the same chant a while back when another officer was killed. And then, of course, we've had the officer that got beat up on camera, and they filmed him. So it's the unfortunate thing is this is the Black Lives Matter movement, which can only be described as nonsense, is creating a lot of this type of thing around the country.
Sure.
And it's going to backfire, quite honestly.
Kevin, why has the Black Lives Matter movement not been classified yet as a hate group? I mean, how much more has to go in this direction before someone actually labels it as such?
Well, they should do it, but unfortunately, it's being financed by the leftists. And ironically, it's people that have nothing, really no concern at all about Black lives, people like George Soros. And of course, it's a trickle-down theory on the left with this going forward. But the sad part about it is the impact that it's going to have in the black community and the fact that it takes away so much thought about what really is the problem in the black community, which is a lack of whole black families. And what it allows people to do is sort of say, hey, let's point the finger at everything but where it really needs to point. If we had more black families whole in the community, we would have a lot less of this. If we had clergy who were willing to support real issues and change in the black community, we'd have a lot less of this. And of course, we've got the Congressional Black Caucus who actually loves this type of strife.
Well, it's very interesting. They interrupt Bernie Sanders, they interrupt Governor O'Malley, and they start to harass Hillary Clinton. And they all are afraid of losing the African-American vote that Barack Obama locked up. They all want that sect. It's so valuable for the primaries. So politically, they don't know what to do. Politically, what they're doing, Brian, is they want this to be the thing that rallies blacks off of their seats and into the polling booth. And the irony is it's going to have the exact opposite impact. The overwhelming majority of blacks in America want what every other human being wants in America, white, black, or otherwise, and they do not support this movement. It's something like 64% against it.
Yeah.
I like
Dr.
to see
Ben
the
Carson had a thoughtful piece last week that I think may speak in large to all people in all communities. Thank you, Kevin, for your time, always.
My pleasure.
All right, 10 minutes now before the bottom of the hour. Still